If you were to take most of the online gurus' advice today, it would be to grind your way to the top. The only way to grow a business is to hustle. Don't sleep though. Sleep is for losers, and you're not a loser. More effort means more results, and there's no way around it. Honestly, I thought the same thing. I listened to the advice and it kind of worked for a little bit. In 6 months, I grew a multiple six-figure business. There is something though that most people don't talk about. I was freaking miserable and I burned out. This tends to happen when you grind your way to the top. You don't sleep and you just think that you have to hustle your way to getting anything in life. Now, during this time, I'm starting to do research. I'm thinking to myself, man, there must be a better way to go about this. And this is when I stumbled upon The Backwards Law by Alan Watts. Alan Watts, if you didn't know, is this kind of mystic. He was taking Eastern philosophies and he was kind of dumbing it down for us Westerners so we could understand it. And it became incredibly popular. He had a couple of keys, some interesting ideas that he brought forth, and one of those ideas was the backwards law. The backwards law basically said this: the desire for a more positive experience in and of itself is in fact a negative experience. However, paradoxically, if you accept one's negative experience, that in and of itself is a positive one. Now, for you knuckle draggers in the room, yes, I'm included in that, it basically means more effort doesn't equal more results. It actually is the opposite. The more you try, the less you get. The less you try, the more you get. So here's the question for this video. Can you apply the backwards law to business? Is it a legit long-term strategy to growing your business, or is it just another mystic philosophy that honestly can't be applied and you just get thrown out with everything else? So in this video, I'm gonna be covering the 3 principles that I applied from the backwards law into my business and how it's worked. Before we get there, let's think about this, the current state of the type of mindset that we have around business. Now, the fuel to growing a business is sales and marketing. It goes hand in hand, and so I'll be talking a lot about that during this video. Now, when I first started my business, I had a little bit of an edge here. See, in my corporate world, I worked as a sales trainer and manager and led sales teams, and so, going in front of people, telling them how I could be of value to them was relatively easy to me, but not most people have that experience. However, coming from a sales background, there's a lot of baggage with it. I mean, if you think about sales, you don't think about being of service to someone. You probably think about, I won't name any names, of certain individuals that are kind of sleazy when it comes to the sales game. You know what I'm talking about, right? That sales has a pretty negative connotation to it. And honestly, most of this sales baggage and the negative connotation is warranted, okay? There's a lot of sales trainers and managers out there today that talk about how individuals have money in their pocket and it is yours and it's your job to figure out how to get it out of them. The only way to get to the top is to hustle your way there and act like Wolf of Wall Street. And also that, like, look, leads are leads and you need to hunt them down until they block you. Like, this is the type of mindset, by the way, that a lot of people actually have still to this day in business. And by the way, I had that same kind of mindset for a period of time. And the thing that we cannot ignore is that it works in the short term. The problem with this strategy is that you're getting clients that are equally as desperate as you, and that's not good for longevity. Now, let's take something like a function that's called cold DMing. Kind of a lot of people do it. Cold DMing on social media or cold emailing for that matter. You will get fast results with this strategy. You'll start making appointments and your calendar will be full. You will start making some sales even. You start looking at it and going, oh my God, this thing is working, and then until it doesn't. One day you realize you're getting tons of DMs back to you saying how annoying and how gross it is, the strategy you're doing. And by the way, because you got that message, there's a really good chance that person will never work with you. You don't realize it, but you're damaging your own brand before you even really get started. Ask me how I know that, by the way. It's because I've done that strategy. Just being honest here. And here's what I found. The people that I was working with wasn't who I wanted to work with. They were just the most desperate people that needed the help at the time. Or let's take another example, okay? Have you ever been on a sales call with someone and they're clearly desperate for the sale, and then you start to question yourself, like they're pushing, and you start to wonder, is the problem I'm looking to solve even worth it? I don't even care anymore. I don't want this problem solved. I'm just gonna run away from it because honestly, I don't even like this experience. That is what the type of hunter mentality does at the end of the day to your business. The sales you make from these strategies aren't with the right clients that you want. And by the way, I have a great video on this with my friend Joe Polish. And he talks about how the crappiest bait attracts the shittiest fish. And that's exactly what we're actually doing. The point is, the more we come off salesy, the more salesy we look, and the less actually results we get in the long run. Now, we also have to look at this on the flip side, right? People tend to apply the backwards law to a ridiculous extreme. They don't want to get on sales calls. They don't make content. They don't do anything to grow their business because they feel that everything should be attracted to them. You know, the people that, read The Secret, for example, and wonder why 10 years in the making of applying The Secret to their life, why they don't get any results. Well, because you have to do a little something. So there is a balance, and the balance comes with these three principles that I came up with, which allow me to still grow my business with the clients that I actually want to work with. The first principle is attract and never chase. They say your vibe is your tribe, and with attraction marketing, it's true. By having the right type of messaging, the right type of content, the right type of marketing, you can attract people that you actually want to work with. And the best part is, my friend Joe Polish calls it being pre-motivated, pre-interested, predisposed to making a sale. It means by the time they get to the sales call with you, or however you convert people into clients, they actually know they want to work with you. There is no hard effort going into the sales process. They already know it. You just have to make sure that you're the same as you appear online. If this is done right, it means less effort, more results. Here's a real world example. So I got this buddy Shane, right? He's been watching my content for literally a number of years, maybe 4 or 5 years. And recently he heard somebody, a coworker of his, saying, hey, we need some help with mindset and sales. And so the first thing he thought about was me. Why? Because of the content. Now the cool part is the person he referred over is outstanding. The perfect kind of client. And by the way, the sales process was pretty much null and void. Really, it was just a matter of, did the dates line up for the workshop? Is the money right? Does it make sense? And that was it. There was no hard sales tactic that I had to use. And the answer was because I used attraction marketing. I was available. I knew exactly who I know exactly who I'm making content for. And as a result, turned into a referral. Less effort, still get the same result. Perfect. Principle number 2, be of value, but never be someone's savior. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna be a guarantee for you. You will attract takers. I know, I've been there. These are individuals that wanna take your time, sometimes your money even, your energy, but they don't wanna do the same thing for themselves. It's not to say that you don't give away free value. You absolutely should. Obviously, that's why I'm making this piece of content right here. Free value. You're welcome. The problem becomes when they start booking calls with you and you spend hours with them giving advice and telling them how they should do certain things. And number one, they either A, don't follow through with it because they didn't pay for it, or B, they don't want to just do the bare minimum to get a result. Therefore, you're trying to be their savior. The problem with this, all you get out in return is resentment. You feel like, why am I doing all this? Or even worse, and by the way, I've been here before too, you give tons of value to someone who never gives that in return, meaning they don't pay for anything or never refer anybody to you. And then next thing you know, they've actually grown a really successful business, or they gotten outstanding results from your advice, and they never give it, they never give you shout out even, they never do anything for it. That's a problem too. Again, principle number 2, really simple, be of value, but never be someone's savior. Principle number 3. This one, I won't lie to you, was incredibly hard for me. Principle number 3 is don't be afraid to let go. So again, we're trained, if you come from a sales background, that you chase leads down until they tell you no. But at some point, you need to let go. Not dwell on the fact that maybe the interaction didn't go the way that it was planned, not sit there in your head about it over and over again, not email them 15,000 times even though they're not responding. Sometimes you need to let go. The purpose of letting go, or surrendering, however you want to call it, is you're not chasing the positive experience. You're actually just accepting what is, which then puts more energy in your tank. If you think about it this way, right? If you're chasing down somebody, if you're constantly needing to follow up with your email, text, number one, think about it from the client perspective. Once they're a client, you're probably gonna do the same thing. And number 2, you now are just spending energy and time on someone that doesn't wanna work with you. It's okay to let it go, accept what is, move on to the next one. So at the end of the day, growing a business fast is actually not always the right move. I know that's really hard pill to swallow. It is for me too. This is something that I absolutely had to learn the hard way. I grew a business fast and it literally blew up in my face. Literally. Maybe not literally. There was no explosions, but you know what I mean. Something that I had to figure out is that growing a business is a marathon, not a sprint. Sometimes when you're under downtime, it's time to actually evaluate what's going on, figure out how to improve things. Sometimes it's about finding and making sure you are in the right area for the right clients. Not everything is all about getting to 7 figures, 6, 7 figures, whatever, getting $1 billion in a day. It doesn't happen overnight. And if you're in this for the long haul, in my opinion, one of the best laws to kind of abide by is the backwards law. And if you're in this for the long haul, it's my opinion that the backwards law is a really good thing to abide by, so you can make sure you stay in it, you enjoy it, and you love it. But As always, what do I know? I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Put them in the comments below. Can you apply the backwards law to business, or am I pulling at straws here? Let me know in the comments how you're going to plan on applying this strategy, these 3 principles, into your business and your life. As always, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next one.